Alright, I am going to be talking about Pissban version part 3. Alright guys, part 3, let's go. So, I'm going to be talking about my ban from Tower Battles, the actual game. Now, keep in mind, I am currently unbanned. I am unbanned because I asked Planet enough times to unban me, not because I actually convinced him my ban was biased, because he didn't really care at all. But, basically, I'm going to give you the rundown of the story, and then I'm going to break it up into detail. Now, the rundown is, I help somebody win the tournament. They forfeit mid-tourney, and then I get banned from Tower Battles for, in quotations, interfering with the tournament. And that's basically what happened until I asked Planet to unban me. Now, I don't actually think this is what happened. This is what moderators will say what happened, but I believe Phoenix thought I was ulting. Because the way it is worded in my ban message, it says I got banned for cheating in a tournament. Cheating implying I actually broke rules, as in ulting. Now, let's keep in mind, ulting doesn't actually break rules. I do believe in moderators' imagination, it does break rules. Alright, and people would find it reasonable that it does break rules, even though it doesn't. Now, assuming I was ulting, saying I was cheating in a tournament would somewhat be reasonable. However, I wasn't even cheating in a tournament. I had 100% video proof of not ulting, and she later corrects this to interfering in a tournament, which doesn't make any sense, as interfering isn't against the rules. What I did is what numerous people before in the past have done, and it has been, if anything, encouraged. Almost every single tournament, people VC and people chat and give other people instructions on how to win. Every single tournament. It makes absolutely no sense to make that rule now, not change it in the actual document where the rules are, and just simply straight out say, hey, you're banned for doing something that every single person has done before in every single tournament. But we're just gonna single you out for it. And it doesn't break any rules. Keep in mind, it doesn't break any rules to VC or chat with somebody that's doing the tournament. Not only does it not break any rules, and not only does every single other person do it all the time, but she knows this. She knew what I was doing. There was absolutely no surprise. Yet, she still finds this as a justifiable means of banning my account in Tower Battles, which doesn't make any sense. Now, moving on from this, Phoenix did a series of checks to make sure you weren't ulting, which is fine on its own, except there is one check that is just morally incorrect, and that is asking people to share DMs. It's a blatant invasion of privacy, and is completely unfair to people, because what if they had a password or a face reveal, and it was heavily implied you would be disqualified from the tournament if you did not share group messages and DMs that were completely private. Now, beyond this, what you will find even more surprising is this was not for everybody. This was exclusively for people she deemed I was going to ult for. Alright, and there was no other deciding factor. This wasn't on the official list, but she did ask people to do this, which is completely unfair. Were they forced to leak DMs?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
if they didn't?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're
Because
just good.
Because I'm pretty sure I shared my password with a lot of people who probably wouldn't be too happy. Bro, what the fuck? I don't understand. You can't force people to leak DMs, can you?
Probably not.
Like what happens if they refuse to leak DMs?
And you would get banned from the tournament. Because,
So you have to leak DMs? I mean, like, A, I can just delete my DMs with them. Like, it really isn't that fun.
yeah.
And B, like, what if I put my password in or some shit? Now, that was basically what happened with my ban. Nothing really progressed further than that, as, again, Phoenix is horrible at communicating with anyone, especially me in particular, and nothing productive came out of anything until Planet unbanned me because I asked him enough times. Now, the next thing I'd like to address is Tower Battles clans. Now, they have a bigger problem with bias. I wasn't as concerned. I didn't care as much as in TBC, but I feel like you guys should know. So, I am specifically going to be focused on Giant here. Alright, now, Giant, let's just say I started it with him. Alright, me and him, we don't like each other. I started it. I'll take that responsibility. What basically happened is I'm banned from the server, so I can't show you any screenshots, but I told him that he sucked at Tower Battles for using the same loadout for survival and versus. Now, this hurt his feelings. He didn't like that. So he did the only rational thing any person would do. He became a moderator in Tower Battles Clans and banned me. And he removed me from a Huntsman tournament, or a Huntsman challenge, I should say, that I was 110% going to win if I wasn't going to be removed. We both came to this conclusion. Now, the problem with this is that it would be another 6 months before I got Huntsman. He single-handedly took away Huntsman for 6 months. He claims this was a, in quotations, mistake. Of course, I think he was just biased, and he just says it's a mistake because he doesn't want to admit he was biased. And honestly, that's whatever, alright? It's whatever. But then, you know, he biasly bans me after I get unbanned, right? I asked Dark Recluse to unban me, so he does, because it was blatantly biased. And then he starts trolling me. He starts just being straight up disrespectful, completely unprofessional, and trolls me in TB clans. Now, this I really didn't like. And then he decides to ban me again. When confronted, he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I didn't ban you, Patty did," when in reality, he was the one that ordered Patty to ban me. So, yeah, I just want to add in, Patty wasn't a good moderator either. He told me it was okay to do something. I proceeded to do it, and then he told me it wasn't okay and it was my fault for not knowing better. On top of that, he also leaked our DMs for attention in TBC, which he later admitted. Yes, Giant did ban me twice. That was biased. Now, I'm still banned because Dark Recluse denied the repeal this time. I don't know why. I think I had sufficient evidence. Maybe he was tired of unbanning me. Now, this in itself was okay-ish. Now, it gets better. So Giant actually wanted Huntsman. Now, the problem with this is he wasn't particularly good at the game, and his friend Xbox at the time wasn't good at the game also. So he decides to go to me asking if I were to help, not him, but someone completely unrelated. And when I were to help that person that was unrelated, they would transfer the strategy over to Giant. They're trying to steal my strategy. So I, of course, knew about it. I said yes, and I gave them the worst strategy imaginable. Now, he obviously lost the tournament and blamed me as if this was somehow my fault Giant lost, which it wasn't, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It is completely Giant's fault. I find that hilarious that he thinks he can blame me. I don't know what logical thought process was going on in his head that I was, in quotations, out to get him. Now, at the very start of this drama, I was actually made aware that Giant used exploits to get 1 million credits and buy Scarecrow with those exploits. Now, the issue with this is I knew this from nearly the very start, but I wasn't a snitch. I wasn't going to tell anyone. And at certain times, it was my respect for Xbox and Giant being friends with Xbox that stopped me from telling him. At certain times, it was because I genuinely felt bad and thought he wanted to improve. It became clear as things developed that Xbox was a really shitty person, and I lost all my respects in him. On top of that, Giant was edging me on the entire fucking time to share it. Blatantly trolling me, making rude remarks, and just generally not being a nice person. So, of course, I gave him one last chance to give me any reason why I shouldn't share this information. And he just said, I do not care. So I took that as it's okay to share this. So I tried to resolve things. It doesn't work out. Now, do I think Giant's going to get banned? Probably not. As we all know, TBC moderators are biased. The rules clearly state if you are exploiting, you will be banned from the Discord community and the game. No appeal. No questions asked. Alright? He exploited. I have completely valid, 100% solid proof. Yet, the chances of him actually getting banned, I don't think, are actually that high. Because, again, TBC mods are biased. Who would ever ban their beloved moderator? And my last story for you guys. A very heartwarming story between me and Top Troll. Top Troll was kind of reasonable at first, and then he just started blatantly trolling me. Now, later, he admits this. He actually apologizes, and I appreciate that. I think we're on actually really good terms right now. However, I just want to point out the fact that this gone unnoticed in TB Cleanse for so long. I think this is like direct proof of how corrupt they are and just how blatantly biased. And also, Taltro admits everything he said to Phoenix was just completely untrue. And I think this is actually what started my ban. Him saying a completely... Okay, I noticed this when I was editing, but I just want to say, what the fuck? Alright, you could see Phoenix saying, he did not make a big deal about the ban, so I think he understands he was a pain. This genuinely triggers me, as I made it literally the biggest deal I could possibly make it to my extent. And the fact that none of it reached Phoenix shows the absolute ignorance, miscommunication, and just incompetence of the entire TBC moderation system. I just want to point that out. The untrue and biased remark to Phoenix, and Phoenix taking it as fact, not hearing out my side whatsoever. So I just wanted to add that in. Again, me and Tacho are completely cool now, and I think I'm on really good terms with them.